All right, so today we will be going over some of my chemical waste I've got to prepare to start shutting down and clean up some of these precious metals and concentrate on depopulation and just sorting boards and stuff like that. So I'm gonna clean up my chemical waste station and just organize things. And this is the first step, is to recover the precious metal that's been cemented out, filter it, and then process it. We'll see. All right. Hey, minor setback. I didn't realize all this copper was in here. I just throw it in there when I have spare pieces, and so it's going to require a little bit of squirting off. And you can see there's some slimes in the bottom. So I don't know if I'm gonna filter that or just store it for later, but we're gonna get through this. All right, so here we go. I've rinsed some of that stuff off. I gotta tell you, man, I'm not really interested in trying to dissolve all that stuff with the nitric. There's a lot of copper in there. I think I'm just going to leave it, and we'll mess with it in a couple of years. It's not really a lot of values to the time involved in it, so we'll just filter off what we have and store it, or process it. So a lot of copper in there, the slime's right there. So I'm not really gonna mess with it. All right, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna go after the silver and precious metals that have been in my recovery bucket. The waste for my silver refining goes through a bucket with copper in it. And every now and then I pull out the waste, every couple of years. And we are going to process it with nitric and distilled water. And later we will probably cement it out. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like that's the quickest way, and run it through the silver cell. So we'll cover that. We'll let that sit tonight. Let it slowly work its magic. So to speed things up, we had put some heat on this, not boiling, but a gentle heat. Excuse the helicopter in the background, but that's our overflight. Anyway, let's get back on topic. You can see here we have a little bit of silver chloride forming. I'm pretty sure we'll settle that out tonight and then filter it in the morning and process that accordingly. Probably drop it in weak sulfuric acid and iron this time. Or let me rephrase that. I'm going to have to use hydrochloric acid and zinc. Anyway, we'll figure it out tomorrow. All right, we're in the final stages of filtration. I had to separate the silver chloride from my waste bucket and the silver nitrate with the possibility of palladium contamination. We will do the safest thing, and that's going to cement that out on copper, recover the palladium in the silver cell, treat it with some DMG, and then we will deal with that salt later. But right now, I feel like the safest way to store it would be to cement out all the values through copper pipe and deal with it later. All right, so we are separating silver nitrate and the possible palladium from the silver chloride, and I will have to deal with that with some aluminum and hydrochloric acid. I don't have much zinc. I could probably use sulfuric acid and iron, but I'm running a little low on sulfuric acid. So we're going to use what we have, and that is aluminum and hydrochloric acid. So we will start chapter 3 later. Let's give it a quick stir. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to rinse both the cemented silver and the silver chloride. I'm going to pour hot water over that, and we're going to have a couple of rinses to clean that up. I will rinse this silver crystal, and I've made my mind up. We're going to treat it with iron and sulfuric acid, weak sulfuric acid, to get that silver to drop. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to rinse both the cemented silver and the silver chloride. I'm going to pour hot water over that, and we're going to have a couple of rinses to clean that up. I will rinse this silver crystal, and I've made my mind up. We're going to treat it with iron and sulfuric acid, weak sulfuric acid, to get that silver to drop out. So we will come back in just a few seconds. All right, so what we're going to do here is we are going to refine the silver chloride using weak sulfuric acid at a 10-to-1 ratio and iron. And what I'm going to do is just gently heat this up. We're going to convert the silver. I had just a little bit of palladium on my stannous test. Now, palladium follows that silver chloride, so I don't know if it's palladium chloride and silver chloride. And, you know, I boiled it with nitric, and maybe I should have boiled it with hydrochloric acid, but I'm a little out of my depth in that. So what I'm hoping to do is to convert it to silver, and any palladium that is left over, we will capture in the silver cell and then process accordingly. All right, so it's been about 20-25 minutes. What do you guys think? There's your silver, and that doesn't look too bad. So, man, what we'll do is I'll probably filter that off, and then we'll start rinsing and run that stuff through the silver cell. I might even have to do a lot of hot water rinses and maybe hydrochloric acid to get some of that iron out. But there you have it. Silver conversion with weak sulfuric acid and iron. All right, so we're finishing this up. It's not too bad. You know, we've recovered some of our silver from the silver waste bucket. Had a little bit of exercise of critical thinking, and we'll clean this up and then get a weight, make a bar maybe, get ready to run some material through a silver cell. All right, so this is the cemented silver on the right. That it's a little dirty. I'm not going, you know, we're not going to fib here. It's got to be cleaned up. We probably got to run a magnet through to pick up any pieces of iron, and then I'll have to, you know, treat that. You know, maybe some more weak sulfuric acid or hydrochloric acid to dissolve the rust and then clean it up. And then this obviously was the silver that came from the silver nitrate. So what we had to do is we had to separate the chloride, the silver chloride, from the silver that was in the bucket, my waste bucket. So I dissolved it in nitric. We cemented that out. We went after the chloride with a iron, weak sulfuric acid and iron method. And I'll give you a little close-up of that. We'll let that settle, like I said, tonight. We'll pour it off and we'll start cleaning that out. But that's how much silver we've recovered from my silver waste recovery bucket. And, you know, it's not too bad. Do I wish it was, you know, 30 ounces of silver? Yeah, but, you know, we're not letting anything go to waste here. And so we're going to recover it. We're going to refine it. And, you know, I think we're going to have to make some coins. So that's it. All right, we're going to glove up for this. And I've double filtered this right here. And we are going to pour the hydrochloric acid off. Oh man, that's a weird color. It's really blue. It's got a lot of copper in it. Your cement. kind of weird how much copper was in that. We'll test it. All right, so we're going to come back and after that's filtered, all right? Snapshot of that color. So apparently a lot of copper in that solution. A lot of copper. All right, so a couple of lessons learned from this. One, don't mix your nitric and hydrochloric acid waste streams in the same bucket. And two, maybe using iron and weak sulfuric acid wasn't such a great idea. It's still messy as far as I'm concerned. Garbage in, garbage out. Almost looks like I could reuse some nitric. I'm not showing you what it looks like. I'll cut to that in a minute, but this is what we're going to work with. I feel like that's good enough, and we'll dry it out. We'll just make a little bar, and run it through the silver cell. This here is the silver recovered from the weak sulfuric acid and iron. It's not as clean as I like. I almost feel like drying it out and leaving it alone. Maybe melting it, but it's got some impurities. I'm torn between putting it in nitric and dropping it out again to just clean it up. Like I said, garbage in, garbage out, but you can see here, it's a pretty decent amount, but got some black flakes in it and just didn't clean up. I probably should have used aluminum and hydrochloric acid, but I didn't know what else was in there, and I felt like if I used iron it would have dropped a lot aluminum, it would have dropped a lot of stuff. It's just like sometimes messing with that stock pot, it's messy, it requires creative thinking, and sometimes things don't turn out the way you want them to, but we're gonna melt the silver, and that'll probably be in a different video, and we'll have startup silver cell. But next I got to clean up some papers. Man, the copper cells are really coming along. These are the final couple of pieces in there, so we'll have some results hopefully. I might run some plated stuff through there too, and that cathode bar there is pretty solid. So hey, thanks for watching.